If you're ready. Are we live?
We are.
All right. Well, happy Wednesday. Happy Groundhog's Day. I do not listen to what the groundhog has to say. We're not having any more winter. We're done with winter. Boo. We're ready for springtime. It's interesting. My mom and dad always said, as you get older, time goes faster and faster. And when you're young, you're like, January's already gone. January's already gone. We're in February. I mean, it's just crazy how fast time is going. I want to share two personal things before we get into some friends' home stuff. First of all, let me talk about my daughter. So Helen is 14 and a half, and she's awesome, young lady. I share with you, introverted for the most part, which is okay, but kind of quiet. And she plays basketball. She plays volleyball too, but she plays basketball. And she did not want to play this year. She's a freshman at Bishop McGuinness. And we convinced her because I also learned from some very smart people, you want to keep the young ladies very busy. You don't want them to have idle time. So we said, you're going to be doing something because I don't want you to have idle time. So she decided to play. And the first couple times I saw her play, I was like, this is not my daughter. I mean, it was amazing. She's point guard, doing really well. Well, she continues to play well. She's got brought up to varsity on several games. And it is amazing because I'm thinking, here she is. She's going to go and she's just going to be like, she shoots. Now, she doesn't make all the shots, but that's okay because she's at least shooting, right? And when she does, she's an outside shooter. She doesn't like to go inside, but when she shoots those threes and makes them, seeing that smile on her face, even with the mask, you can still see when people are smiling. So people ask me, how do you get through it? I get through it because my wife, my daughter, you, things like that, just keeps me going because there's a lot of great things to be thankful for. I will digress for 1 second. How many of y'all know Bob Eason? Resident, okay, right. Gene passed away, and so I haven't seen Bob in a while, and I had a meeting with him yesterday. And if you don't know Bob, you're really missing out. He is a salt of the earth, just a great man. And 2022, I told myself, I'm going to be even a little bit more positive, just because I was noticing I was getting a little negative in the way I was thinking about some things. And I was meeting with Bob, and first thing Bob says, how are you doing? I went, well, Bob, I'm doing okay. And then I kind of started talking about some things, and he goes, but aren't we blessed? And I went, well, yeah. He goes, no, really, what a beautiful day. I went, it is. And he goes, I got up this morning, I had a nice breakfast. I can't remember who his, I'm gonna call it companion, caregiver is. He said, and she came to work today, and it's a good day. And I went, it is a good day. So it's, again, just these things that where God puts people in your lives just remind you that in everything that we're going through, we're very blessed and it's a good day. Now, last thing about me. This is my dad's tie. And my dad's been gone for 11 years now. He used to be a foreman at the American Tobacco Company in Reidsville, North Carolina. And I remember, I've got vivid memories. He always worked second shift. But he'll coming home at night, coming in my room, still giving me a kiss and goodnight. And I can smell the tobacco. Right? And I don't like cigarette smoke, but the smell of tobacco, I've always enjoyed the smell of that. But this was his tie, and he wore it a lot. Anyway, this is really one of the only things I have of my dad, and it always sits there. And for some reason, I was thinking about my dad today and said, I'm going to wear the tie. And so this tie is probably at least 40 years old from a company called Williams & Company out of Eaton, North Carolina. Been out of business for a while. But I remember going there to get my first suit with my dad when I was a kid. So anyway, I'm surrounded by love today, so I wanted to share that with you. So now let's talk about friends' homes. How many of y'all are looking for a tax deduction letter from Friends Homes, right? Okay, yeah. And when do we normally try to get that letter out? End of January. And what is today's date? February 2nd. And do you have it? You don't have it, right? Okay, so here's the deal. It's coming. We've got it. We got it late Friday afternoon. And this is the medical deduction letter. We got it late Friday afternoon. And the story is it's going to go in your bills. So when you get your bills for February, it'll be in there. So yes, you will have to wait a couple extra days to get it. The good news is the numbers are pretty much the same as last year, pretty spot on. For those that moved in 2021, the medical deduction for your entrance fee has gone up a lot because we had a lot of people move in this year, which was a good thing. But the numbers are pretty much the same, and you should be getting it. Like I said, if not late this week, first of next week. If you have any questions, go see Lynn Hall. If you want to ask me, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you, go see Lynn Hall. Okay, so Lynn Hall, we're putting that in your bills, and it should be forthcoming. I'm sorry that it's late. We tried to get it to you by the end of January, but for various reasons, that did not happen. Okay, now let's talk about dining for a second. So lots going on with dining. Yay, February 1st, breakfast, lunch. Hopefully we are back and we are not going backwards. We're here to stay. So I was talking to Carly today, and I said, Carly, we need some hope. We need something to look forward to. And I said, I'm looking at our staffing. I know we're still struggling in nursing. I know we still got some staffing positions in dining. She said, Arnie, I feel really confident that February 21st. Wait, hold up. Where's my glasses? Very important. February 21st. February 21st, we can reintroduce dining in the dining room. I went, really? That's great. I had my residents chat said, she goes, well, I don't know if you should tell them that or not. And I went, oh yeah, we'll tell them. Because you know what? We all need hope. We all need hope. So February 21st is the goal that our dining room will be open back again for dinner time with the hope that it's here to stay. Now I'm going to share a negative, not trying to be negative, these are just facts. We have had 80% turnover with employees that we have hired in the last year. Yeah, right? Right. Now, looking at the positive side of that is we've got some really hardcore, long-term employees. I know, Mary, I'm not looking at you. Although we love you, Mary. I'm not looking at you yet. That have stuck through this and are champions and there, because you know what? They know who we are. Just like you know who we are. And a lot we've been through over the last 2 years is not who we are. It is in a lot of ways. Care, right? But in a lot of ways from the service and expectations and changes in our program, it's not who we are. It's who we've had to become to adapt to the circumstances. But I share that with you because when I think about the people here and the turnover, why are people leaving, right? And it's a multitude of reasons. Again, we're all competing for the same people. We have opted, I think I shared this with you, we've opted not to do sign-on bonuses. A lot of companies are doing sign-on bonuses. It's a very big motivator, demoralizing for current staff when you're giving someone new $500 or $1,000, whatever the case may be. And I'll also share with you, we are not paying new people more money than we pay our current employees. We opted not to do that, which has caused a little bit of issues, but we believe that's what's right and what's fair, so that's what we're doing. We will get past this. We will get over this. I share the 80% with you because what we are doubling down on is finding ways to ensure the new people that are coming on are being oriented and understand that everything we're selling them about how great it is to be here, these are not normal times. And to hang on, and you're going to find that if you hang on, you're going to be like these ladies right here and realize this is a great place to work, not live. Sometimes it feels like we live here though, right? But work and be a part of the family. I want to share that with you because I digress. Wednesday, February 16th, is that right? Employee Service Awards. So we are going to be at Flintstones West, and we're bringing together about 45 long-term employees for Employee Service Awards, where we're going to recognize 40 years, 35 years, 30, 20. And these are men and women that have dedicated really a big part of their lives to taking care of not only you, but really taking care of us. And so we're going to be recognizing these men and women on that Wednesday. And I can't wait to share pictures and stories about that. The leadership team comes, we bring them up, we brag on them, we tell stories about them. And what's amazing is you always hear a common theme when they tell you about why they came to Friends Homes and why they stay at Friends Homes. love, family, community. It's just all the reasons most of you came here as well. So again, some exciting things coming down the path. So February 21st. February 21st, hopefully the dining room will be back open and back open to stay. Now, with that being said, I'm excited to tell you a little bit about where we are on construction. So I had a construction meeting today. We're still on board for the Wellness Center to be open at the end of May, middle to end of May. The bistro will be opening the first part of June, which is in the Wellness Center. The dining room at West is on schedule to open up probably toward the end of July, 1st of August. All of that this year, right? We've already gone past 1 month in January. We do not want to wish time away, but it's coming. It's coming. Now, what's important is we've been planning on this for 4 years, right? Getting ready for it. Now it's time to tell you what we see as the programming for the Wellness Center. So with the Teresas and the Marys and Mary's counterpart Hannah, we want to share this with you. The dining venues, we're going to have 4 distinct dining venues that are your dining venues. Regardless of where you live, there are 4 dining venues for you. We want to share this with you. What the themes of the dining rooms are, what the menus are going to look like, what the hours are going to be, all the service. And what we're going to do is what we always do. We're going to communicate, but it's going to take a little time. So we've been working on this. And then sometime toward the end of February, we're going to get with a group of residents here, about, I'm going to say 12, 15 residents here at Guilford. At the same time, we're also going to be getting together with 12 or 15 residents at West. And believe it or not, we're all going to meet at the same time. Not 2 separate meetings, 1 meeting. And we are going to present to these residents our ideas and thoughts about these new dining venues. And what we're going to get from them is feedback. What they like, what they don't like. Oh, I thought we would see this or that. And then explain this a little bit more. And then we'll take that, we'll do a little tweaking, if you will, and then we'll come back and we'll present again to a larger group of residents. Get feedback, tweak it a little bit more. And then we're going to push it out to one of my chats. I'm going to share with y'all what's going on. Again, with the themes, with the hours, with the menus. So that when we get to that point, sometime in June and July, when we go live, we're all ready for it and we've done the right thing, listening, getting feedback, and tweaking. So things are coming on the dining part, and at the same time, Teresa and Mary and Hannah have done a great job programming the Wellness Center, ideas and concepts. We now want to take their ideas, share it with you, again, to make sure that we're on track. Because the last thing we want to do is open a Wellness Center, have all this great program, and you're like, I don't want to do that, right? We want you to be excited about it. We want to make sure we're checking the boxes, dotting our I's, and crossing our T's. So more to come on that over the next month and a half. So as part of where we are, I want to talk to you a little bit about some organization restructure, because y'all haven't really been through any change. All right, again, my notes say wait for, okay. All right. So most of y'all know Missy left January 1st. And prior to Missy leaving, when Presbyterian Homes started managing Friends Homes, the way we set up the structure, if you will, working with the Board of Trustees, looking at our long-range plan, looking at kind of unifying the West and Guilford campus, the bridge connector, things like that. We have internally been moving our departments into one, not functioning as West, not functioning as Guilford, but really trying to think as Friends Homes. So now, we have a director of dining, a director of hospitality services, a director of wellness. Excuse me. I'm missing some other things, but we'll keep going with that. So one of the things that we're also going to be adding is a director of maintenance. So right now we have a maintenance supervisor, Julian, here. We have a maintenance supervisor at West, Ricky Joe, and we're going to be hiring in the next 4 to 6 months a director of maintenance for Friends Homes. These supervisors will be reporting up to this new position. Another thing that we are doing is we're getting, I've mentioned this to you before, Teresa is actively looking for a wellness coordinator. And so this person will be reporting to Teresa, helping out with the wellness activities. and we hope to have that position filled by the end of March. Is that fair? So we're excited about that. So Missy's role and Donna's role, their titles were Associate Executive Director. So I'm Executive Director, which means I'm overhead, right? I try to stay out of the way. And then Donna and Missy supported the campus. So Missy's role here was like a COO, a Chief Operating Officer, if you will. She was responsible for the day-to-day life of the Guilford campus, and Donna was responsible for the West campus. And it works. Not efficient in all ways, but it works. So when Missy's role became open, we got back together to reevaluate where we are and where we're going. All this concept of, again, about us unifying both campuses. And so we had decided to make a change in our organizational structure. So Donna Sprinkle, who's the Associate Executive Director at Friends Homes West, is going to be taking over the role of overseeing the healthcare services for Friends Homes, for West and Guilford, assisted living and skilled nursing. So she will be responsible holistically for overseeing all of healthcare for Friends Homes, assisted living, skilled nursing. Those employees, the directors of nursing, social workers, rec therapists, will all be reporting up to Donna Sprinkle. And that will be taking place over the next 6 to 12 weeks. Missy's vacated role that we're actually actively interviewing now is going to be Associate Executive Director for Independent Living for Friends Homes. They will be overseeing independent life for Friends Homes, West and Guilford campus. As you think through this, hopefully you will find, as you kind of discern about it, you will understand the benefits of moving in this direction. Healthcare is not independent living. They need to work together from a collaborative because time to time we need health services, but they are distinct and they're unique. So having someone that's solely focused on independent living, we believe is going to be beneficial not only for you, the residents, but also for this org chart of these department heads that are coming together. They're trying to think of things as Friends Homes. So we are actively looking to fill this role now. We're being very deliberate. We're not rushing, as we don't rush around here, but we're being very deliberate on the process. We've had about 4 or 5 interviews. Only one candidate so far has kind of rose to the top. We got a couple more coming down the pipeline. Hope to have this position filled by the end of March. So I want you to be aware of that. Once we think we have the right candidate, I want to get this man or woman in front of our residents, not all of our residents, but some of our residents, so they can have the opportunity to vet them, talk about them, to make sure that they're going to be a good fit. Hopefully, whoever we put in front of you, you're going to feel good about, because hopefully after 5 years, I kind of get you a little bit as far as what you're looking for, not only for today, but for tomorrow as well. So I will continue to keep you in the loop on that. And so with that role, Susie as the Independent Living Resident Services Coordinator, Susie's counterpart, which is Linda Brashaw at West, are going to be instrumental in this new person being successful. Because when I think about, how many of y'all got to read Susie's The Pulse, right? So let me tell you, first of all, let me thank you.
Come on, let's hear it.
Woo! I love that name, The Pulse. So y'all have been very, I'll say, nice to me over the last 5 weeks, understanding that I'm doing the best I can with what I've got, and I've fallen short. There's a lot of emails that I owe people. Jerry Bullock, I think he emailed me several days ago. Probably several other y'all that have emailed me. And I'm not ignoring you. I promise I'll get to the emails as soon as I can. But Missy's missives kind of fell to the wayside. And that was such, I think, an important connection to you knowing what's going on. And so when Susie realized, because I kept saying, yeah, this week, and this week, and it turned into next week, she said, can I just do it? And I went, yes. And in 24 hours, she did it, and it was awesome. So, but the reason I share that is when I think about the Susies of the world and her counterpart, these positions are going to be so important as understanding you and what's going on here on the campus so that they can keep this man or woman abreast of what is important, what's going on, what do we need to focus on. So I'm very excited about getting this role filled, but also the opportunity for Susie and her counterpart to really get, if you will, step up in the leadership role to take more on the leadership team, a more active role. So very excited about that. let's see what else I got on here. New grounds contract. So I think I talked about this in January, but so technically, yesterday we started with our new grounds vendor partner named Bland Landscaping. Bland Landscaping is out of Raleigh. They have an office here in Guilford County. The reason why I say technically is that you may not know this, we had a little snow event several weeks ago, and then we had another little episode, I guess over a week ago or something like that, although I thought I didn't know it was going to snow, and it did anyway. But what you may or may not know, and this is why information is so important, and this is what I'm going to ask y'all to continue to try to stay positive when things happen. I was telling some residents the other day, I promise you, the leadership team and the staff are not complacent. We think about you all the time. We think about your life, your quality of life, services, lack of services, you name it, all the time. There's not a lot that you can ask us to do or consider that we have not already considered. It's just trying to manage it with everything else going on. So when I say I will ask for grace and understanding that sometimes it's lack of information that could cause us to go negative. And I'll say before you go negative, make sure you have all the information. So I will be the first one to tell you, was our snow removal the best? No. Do you think that is up to Friends Home's expectation? No. But let me tell you, who's it, Paul Harvey, the rest of the story? So 48 to 62 hours, whatever, before this snow event happened, our current vendor partner, which was under a 30-day notice because we were telling them we're transitioning on February 1st, let us know that they weren't sure if they were going to be able to help us clear the parking lot. And this is like Thursday afternoon, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And we're like, what do you mean? Like, well, we can't guarantee that we'll be able to get out there. And we're like, well, that's not acceptable. Sorry. So Daryl called, Daryl Shores, who took over grounds on January 1st. And if you don't know Daryl, you need to get to know Daryl. He is an amazing young man. I hate that I'm saying that now about people as I get older, young man. But he's got a wealth of knowledge about turf management and just grounds operations in general. He reached out to our future vendor partner, Bland, and said, I know it's literally like 2.5 days before this, but we need to know if you can help us with our parking lot removal. And they're like, yeah, but it's going to be very limited. We don't have the resources. We've already got everybody farmed out. I would have to steal from somewhere else. We can do it on a minimum capacity. Just tell us what you need us to do just for you to be quote unquote safe, which is what we did. And it's what they did. They showed up. Not what, again, at the end of the day, it's not what we want or what we expect long term, but they showed up and they did the best they could. And I liken that to some of our staff that may be new or whatever, they show up. We need to be thankful when people show up and maybe they don't know exactly how we do things or expectations. And they showed up again on another one. They officially started with us on February 1st. So what happened, we are so grateful and thankful for because they showed up and they did what they said they were going to do. Daryl is taking under his responsibility that he is actually creating a formal snow plan, explaining what we want, the expectations, and he's going to put it in written format so we can share it with the resident board so you can know what to expect. When will sidewalks be cleared? When will the areas between the cars be cleared? How will we clear out the roads? What roads are going to be cleared? So you know when we have an event again, what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. So he's working on that now, but we're very excited about having Bland as a vendor partner. They are a one-stop shop. So they do everything. They do the mow and blow, the fertilization, they do the mulching, they have an arborist, they do a little bit of everything. So we're very excited about having them on board and give them a little bit of time to kind of adapt to who we are. But we're excited and we know they'll bring about great things. Excuse me. I am so tired of talking about this next one. The Arcadia Entrance. Lord. So they're still in review with the city of Greensboro. I have never worked for the city of Greensboro, but everything is a process. So it's still in what they call TRC review, and they're still saying that entrance will be closed. I've said this like 7 times, in the next 30 to 60 days. So I did notice our light's not working. Did anybody notice that? Yeah, the one side works, the other side doesn't. Do we have any electricians in the house? Just kidding. We'll get someone to look at that. I'm trying to be funny. Okay, all right. Speaking of electricity, we are still waiting on Duke Power. The pole, I think we still got a couple poles, at least I know one, if not 2. Charlie is badgering them as much as she can badger them about getting that fixed. So just hang tight, we're working on that. I want to tell you, we've still had a tremendous amount. It's slowing down as it relates to COVID cases. You know, we had such a support from you as residents helping out in our Whittier Health Center with helping, whether it's feeding or just being a companion. We had to put a stop to that because of our quote-unquote outbreak. But we hope within the next week or 2 that we'll be back to a place where if you want to support and help out, we would love to have you do that. But just continue to be patient as we try to get over this last hurdle. The last 2 things I will share with you is that we have a new hot water heater that is being installed for Fry. And we also, the Woolman exhaust fans should be installed by March. So this is a project that's been in our budget, been working on. Julian said we should be actively working on the exhaust fans in Woolman in March. And some of you are having some issues with your check-in button, those that have elected to do that. And so Julian is going to do testing of the visual system here very soon to make sure that it is working correctly. So, and we're getting ready to start our Board of Trustees. They're starting up their regular meetings. We just had one with our financial advisors last week, and we have finance. So we're going to be looking to them to go over our finances. We're going to be looking for our new expansion budget. We'll be talking about strategic plan, construction. I cannot say enough. How many of y'all, test here, how many of y'all have looked at the strategic plan for Friends Homes that I believe is in the reading room? All right, there are only like 7 of you. Okay, here's my challenge for you. Take a look at it. Because if you want to know what's coming down the pipeline, what we're being challenged to look at, not just the day-to-day stuff, but for the future, a lot of time went into this, about 7 months of the board's time went into this to think about strategically over the next 5 years, what do we need to be focusing on? So take a look at it, because when I'm up here talking to you, you'll start seeing, oh, okay, that was in a strategic plan, that was in a strategic plan. All right, so if you get a chance, take a look at it. It's a fairly easy read. So with that, I will open it up for comments and questions and feedback. And so I think we have, so we have a microphone. Can I, before you say something, can I tattle on you? Can I tell on you, Teresa, about West? So in the 5 years I've known Dr. Cox, she has never messed up on anything. She is like perfect. So I know, she is, she's awesome. So at West, we were going around with a microphone, and she had this microphone, and she couldn't get it to work. She said, oh, the batteries are dead. So she went, changed the batteries, came back, it's still not working. I'm gonna get another microphone. It's not working. Changed the batteries again. Couldn't get it to work. And give her credit, she told me why.
They were backwards all over. and I kept doing the same thing over and over again. Which brings me to this point. If you do the same thing every day and expect change, you get it.
Thank you, Teresa.
This is a very well-managed institution. There's no doubt about that. But we're lacking one thing. The best manager I ever worked for, and I think Bill Eller will back me up on this, was Joe Vincent of Pilot Life. We had the best darn group department in the Southeast. Why? Because he managed by walking around and seeing what's going on. You can have all the committees in the world. You can visit all the committees, but you need to get out and say to Joe, while he's doing his maintenance work, what's going on? How's your day? We need that, Arnie, and I don't see that as happening very soon when you have one person in charge of all the independent living. It's going to be a very difficult challenge. I urge all of you who are in management to consider management by walking around.
Very fair. Thank you, Don. Good comment.
We have one over here,
Oh.
and then we'll go across the aisle. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Hello, Arnie.
Hello.
I have 2 questions.
I have 2 answers.
I hope so. The first one is about the latest telephone list for administration.
Okay.
It has no names on it.
Okay.
I can see us fiddling around trying to figure out what the heading is for each person, or what their title is. Because I think that most of us go by names.
Are you talking about the one in the handbook or the one that's at reception?
The one at the reception.
I did not know that changed. It did have our name on it.
So let's, hey, Claire, do me a favor. Go to the second question while Charlie looks at that, and I'll come back to that one, if that's okay.
The second question is, why can we not get a receptionist separate from the security 6 days a week? That person has a very important role for us. Many of us go to her for every question. Where do we go for this? What do we do with this? And having somebody, having a change every so often, it means that our people from the office have to spend some of their important time teaching each of these individuals everything all over again. They don't have the kind of job that you can put in a job description. They have 1,000,001 little things. So I would really appreciate if you could consider, or the board could consider, separating that job.
So Claire, before you get, okay. So, but I heard you say something else. I'll make sure. You said 6 days a week. So was that, so that was not just, that was your.
Deliberate.
Okay, I just make sure, because.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there are people who get their medications on a Saturday. Because the post office isn't always good about delivering on time. And I've seen it happen, and then they have to wait. And we have the kind of clientele here for whom it's very difficult.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to try to respond to both of those. And then the first one, just Charlie, can you tell me real quick about that?
This is easy. This is the wrong one that was printed.
Okay.
I'll just get that fixed with reception.
Okay. So, so the second one is, what's interesting, and it's so not funny. It's not funny at all. But I literally just had probably a 30-minute conversation early this morning about what you just said about the front desk reception, about change, because it's such a first impression, visual kind of, no matter what else is going on around here, oh my gosh, at least I can count on this. And that's changing like every other day. I'm going to digress for 1 second to say what you're experiencing related to that role, multiply it to the leadership team with what they're dealing with every day within their team that you don't even see when they count on somebody, go through all this training and think, okay, I can breathe, and then they're gone, or whatever the case may be. So I know there's probably, just like when we give to the Employee Appreciation Fund, the reason why we do it in a fair way to everybody is because if it was left to most residents, you would only give to those people that you see every day. But there's 340 people behind those people that are doing just as much, just not as visible. So I understand those highly visible roles, and y'all been through a lot of change as it relates to those highly visible roles. I will tell you, it is something that we work very deliberate to try to make sure we get the right person in the place and hope for the best and train them. I will tell you, the team we have, whether it's the Charlies or the Angelas or the Susies, whoever to come to help that person get established about how do you hand out the meds, how do you do the mail. No, it's not they live for that, but they work in a very collaborative thing. So I mean, they want stabilization just as much as you do. And we will get there. We will get there. The one thing we're struggling is with a lot of our frontline employees, it's just hard to fill those roles. It's just hard to fill those roles. So we'll continue. We've been through a lot of changes ever since we had Sheila, right? Everybody loves Sheila. And then when we had Charlie, it's like, woohoo! And then we're like, man, this position's coming up. So we moved Charlie to concierge, doing a great job. And so we've had some good people, but for this reason or that reason, it just, and so I hear you. I will tell you, it's not in our best interest to have that position change over as much as, and we will try to. But what I'm mainly going to take away from what you said, because like I said, there's not much you're going to tell us that we don't think about, is the 6 days. I will walk away with that comment, okay, to think about support. Because at West, they have it. At West, they actually have 7 days on first shift. So that's a budgetary thing that we would have to figure out. So Claire, I know I didn't really answer your questions as you probably wanted, but I do hear you, and I acknowledge that.
Is it too early to ask about a question about food?
It's never too early. It's never too early.
It may be too late. Are we going to get a different food vendor for assisted living? The food is absolutely awful.
No, we're not. So what we have is, I will say, is what we have. The thing that I'm still, if you know me, the way I survive is through optimism and for hope. And so what I would tell you is we are still not in our ideal situation. So like I just came from Friends Homes West. The biggest thing there, kind of like what you're having is, having to do meal deliveries, having to have reduction in choice, having new staff coming on, trying to learn residents' preferences or taste, menus, everything else, issues with, we think we're gonna get this order in and it doesn't show up, and then at the last minute we had to make changes. I am still hopeful that once we get established and stabilized and get out of where we are now, things are going to continue to get better. Not for everyone though. Because at the end of the day, a lot of things are personal preference. And when you're in a community setting, it's very hard to meet sometimes that personal preference. But we're not going to stop trying. So Shirley, keep talking about it. We'll continue doing everything we can. And I'm sorry when we let you down like that. But I will tell you, the thing I said, where my hope is, where we are today is not where we're going to be tomorrow. When we get to the point when, and maybe that's 6 months from now, 8 months from now, we're like, okay, this is it. And if you still say the food is awful, I may have to look at you and go, I'm sorry, this is what we got. But I'm hopeful that you will not be in that situation. I wish I had a better answer for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, while you brought up food, I just thought this was a fascinating, I love numbers for a lot of reasons. And some of y'all are staying on top of what's going on in the world. I try to tell you what's going on as far as supply chain. In the last 6 months, do you know what our food costs, what percentage our food costs has gone up from inflation? 9%. Can you believe that? I mean, that's just crazy to me. I know the government's working on some things to try to, it's funny, we had a meeting with our financial advisors, and we asked him, what do you think? He goes, we need to be put into a recession. And that's what we got to do. He said, because it's just, where we are now, it's just, anyway, it's not good from a cost standpoint, but 9%. Anyway, I share that just because it's just interesting times. Interesting times. Yes, ma'am.
Arnie, I would like to know why you're using security in the reception position. Maybe you said that was the only way you could do it, but as far as I'm concerned, and I hate to be the type of person saying it used to be,
That's okay.
but we need a person who's an office person in there, not a security person.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. I don't think we're disagreeing with you on that. What we've been having is when we're having, like, let's pick on Sharon. Sharon what fell under that. I don't want to get caught up on the department. At the end of the day, what I want you to judge is the end result of the services you're receiving. Regardless of what department they're under or whatever their title may be, are you getting the services that you expect? That's the key. Sharon, no, that's not the key.
I'm saying we're not getting the services.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. That's what I'm saying. Right now, what you're getting is someone being put in there until we can get a full-time, I'm gonna use the word receptionist, to fill that role. Ever since Sharon left, what you're getting is just, we're putting people in there till we find that right candidate. So yeah, we're actively looking for a full-time person for that position. That is not going to be going here and there and everything else. Their job is that front desk. We're actively doing that now.
Not going into being of the security.
Yeah, they may be under that quote-unquote department, but their job, well, I'm not sure what you're saying when you're doing that. What do you mean no?
I'm just saying, I don't believe that position should be under security.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Oh, that's fine.
And I feel like it should be, somebody who is, an office person.
Sure.
Or something like that.
Thank you. So what I would tell you is that we are hiring a receptionist. I'll leave it at that. So the person we're hiring is the receptionist.
I was a ward secretary / receptionist for 23 years. And if worse comes to worse, just by volunteering, I would work Saturdays volunteering. I was worked at a family care center in Hickory as volunteering for a couple of days, and I enjoyed it a lot. If worse comes to worse, I would work on a Saturday downstairs.
Thank you.
To help out.
Thank you. So, and God bless you for that. Let me share with you, because this actually, and I know you're fairly new, this is actually, we have researched this from a couple things. From, you said volunteer, that's very important, because we can't pay our residents. And so, what we would have to talk about from a liability standpoint, because of that position, whether it's mail, medications, all that other stuff, it just gets a little, so we can revisit that. But my goal right now, and what I would like to take you up on at some point, is when the health center opens back up and stuff like that, if you volunteer to visit with other residents or be a part of that, because that's where, with our staffing, we've got great staffing, but they are doing their jobs, but because we're a little bit short-staffed, they're not able to take that personal time to talk to the residents, and that's what the residents are hungry for, is that companionship and stuff like that. Thank you. And you're willing to do more. I need to multiply you. I need to multiply you. Thank you for offering that. I appreciate that.
I think that the dining staff needs someone, maybe from the outside, who waits tables for a profession, to come and train them. They are not offering good service even for a restaurant that only charges you $10.50 for the meal. The wait staff know to come back and offer you water, or tea, or check to see how things are, to get the dishes out in a more timely fashion. And what I observed a couple of times recently and in the past is that when they finish serving us, they gather and just stand and wait. And I think that's a problem.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And we, believe it or not, we actually do have a training program, and we've actually brought Sanella Basic, who is a longtime employee over from West, who trains wait staff, because Friends Homes West had moved into that situation for. And so the one thing I would tell you is that if you're experiencing that, it's our hope that we would improve upon that. Getting stability so that when you're training and setting expectations, setting realistic expectations for the staff, and that's where having the bleeding that's happening right now as far as people leaving and starting all over. But thank you for sharing the comment. I appreciate that.
When is Angela coming?
Oh, Lord, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. So, who remembers what I said? When is Angela supposed to come back?
January.
And what's today's date? February 2nd. Is Angela back? No. She's coming back, but not today. We have made, this year. So we've made 2 offers. The marketing, we had 2 positions open. We've made 2 offers. And the one position, it's kind of a weird how this happened. The one position that we identified for kind of like the office manager that Angela's been really supporting, the more they kept talking to this person who was ready to accept, they said, actually, you would be wonderful as a moving coordinator. And would you be interested in that? Which kind of delayed a little bit. And so we think we're going to find out today she's going to accept for that position, which means now we've got to fill the other position, which means Angela, it may be another couple of weeks, but I understand they got some good candidates. So it could be another 2 to 3 weeks. But I blame Angela. But thank you for bringing that up, because I told Angela I wasn't going to say anything, but you said something, so therefore I had to answer.
That's the only reason she came today.
That's right. But Angela's still coming back. She's still coming back. Comments, questions? Trying to be patient. All right. Okay. Well, thank y'all for everything. Continue to stay safe, wear your mask, and be vigilant out there. And stay safe. God bless you.